How's it going, folks? My name is Alexis and welcome to a new video here on the channel, and we're doing something pretty funky today. If you're afraid of clowns, bad news. If you're afraid of dummies, bad news. And if you're afraid of clown dummies, you're going to want to click off. This little guy here is a late 1980s ventriloquist dummy, of course, built by a gentleman named Jerry Layne, who built these for a living and was also an accomplished ventriloquist. This is from his junior line of professional ventriloquist figures. This is him in his clown getup. He was also available in a male version, a female version, different skin tones, and the standard male version with brown hair, and he's got a red shirt and blue jeans. Is most known for being in Goosebumps. He was in Tales from the Crypt, variety of film and television appearances. This guy is not in the best shape. I got a good deal on him on eBay. But he needs some work. His control stick, where you control all his movements, is not doing so good. His jaw tends to get stuck. The back of his head has come apart, and the wig is not doing so hot. So there's just a variety of things I got to do to fix him up, restore him, to get him looking good. I'm not going to give him any paint touch-ups, although he could certainly use it, maybe in future. But until then, let's get into it. Okay, so I've already begun to take them apart here. As you can see, these are not the original levers, and they're both in the same spot, which is not at all conducive to puppeting him. So I went ahead and untied the strings. Now we're going to take these levers off. By the looks of things, it appears his control stick, his head stick, whatever you want to call it, broke off at some point. And then whoever repaired it didn't do a great job, but it's sturdy, so I'll leave it. But certainly we got to do something about those controls, and we're going to have to extend the length of these strings as well. So I think we should go ahead and take his wig off and open up the back of his head, and at that point we'll extend the strings. So taking his wig off, I don't think it's going to be very easy. I'm just going to try and pry at it until it comes apart and try not to rip all the paint off him. I won't bore you with the whole process though, because I'm sure it's going to take a while, so we'll go ahead and jump here. Okay, it's actually coming pretty easy. Oh, there we go. Oh man, now he's really scary. Oh boy, look at that. As you can see, the back of his head here has just completely come off. Look at that. Jerry Layne, January 1996. Get a better shot of that. How funny is that? So look, there's a hot glue stick in there to control. I think that's for the mouth, yeah. So that's how the eyes operate. You see them moving. Sorry, I'm struggling to get a good camera angle here. And then you pull this other string, and see that causes the jaw to move. So there's the inner workings of this little guy. So I'm going to go ahead and fish his strings through. Ooh, this might be a bad idea. But again, we need to extend them a little bit. I mentioned the jaw is pretty tight. It's not doing so hot. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm not quite sure what's causing that. Okay, I think I've figured it out. I think there's a little too much paint over here, and it's getting caught there. So as much as I hate to do this, I'm going to attempt to chip away the paint a little bit. Okay, so just as I thought, that was a factory issue. There's just too much paint on his jaw. Unfortunately, I will have to do a little bit of touch-up down here now. So we'll get there at the end, but as you can see, his jaw is nice and smooth now. Oh yeah. Okay, so I found some lengths of black string. His original strings are white, as you can see, but not the end of the world. Okay, steady does it. Come on. Oh yeah, we're in. Moment of truth, boom, sweet. It's extremely clear to me that whoever previously owned this guy trimmed his strings. I don't know if it was maybe someone with smaller hands or it was for a child. I'm not sure. And there we are. And now I can trim it to whatever length I'd like. Okay, I'm not sure how well you can see in there, but I've got the strings all tied. So now this one is for the jaw, and then left to right for the eyes. Looking good. Now we're going to attach the back of his head, reattach the back of his head. Figured I'd get one last shot in there. See, I thought he was an 80s example, but he is from January 96. Originally, I was considering doing like nail-on staples. He's not wood. He's sort of this almost pottery-like material. I'm not sure exactly. So if I use nail-on staples, it would just bust him up. So I am just going to re-glue it, and then I might put some tape on there of some variety. Before I go ahead and put his head back together and reapply his wig, I'd like to point out, very interesting how Jerry Layne opted to sculpt hair on this guy. I guess that's just as a general sort of direction as to where to apply the wigs, but pretty funky, pretty cool. Okay, so the best course of action I think would just be to apply glue around the seam, pop it on, and then apply glue from there further. Okay, so we've got it glued on here. It's looking pretty sturdy, and from here I'm going to go ahead and just run the seam and apply it very liberally to really make sure we are in business. Okay, so I've ran through just about an entire stick of glue here, and it looks pretty sturdy. Alright, so I had some red electrical tape lying around, so I went ahead and applied a layer of that. I'm kind of hoping, with any luck, I can kind of flip the wig around, so the nice vibrant red portion is at the front. There you go, looks good. And then the kind of matted part is at the back. Because, I don't know, I don't want to replace the whole wig per se. I mean, I'd like to keep him original. Okay, I've re-glued the wig, and look at that. He looks really nice now. Not quite brand new, of course. Again, there's some paint issues, and I've got to do a little touch-up down here now. But man, he certainly is looking a lot better than he was. And he's certainly functioning a lot better than he was. Let's see, I'm trying to think. I guess, okay, if I was really using him, I guess I'd want to control the eyes with my thumb over here, and control the mouth with my pointer finger. Okay, so I've got the eye mech figured out. The strings are not perfectly tied just yet, but there you go. So again, I got to get it balanced, but there's your eye situation. Again, if you're puppeting him, that's like perfect placement right there. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and put the mouth on, and then we'll do final adjustments. Okay, and I've got the mouth trigger set in place, and as you can see, I think that's a pretty conducive spot for it. Nice and simple to operate. Cool. So now I'll do final touches. I'll trim the strings, tie the knots a lot better, and that'll be that for the head stick. Okay, I've been wrestling with this for maybe 25-30 minutes, but I finally got it to where, see, my goal is the eyes to be centered with the stick being centered. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. There we go. Awesome. Not bad at all. Okay, so I've got some acrylic gesso here. I think this will be the right stuff for the job. So we're going to go ahead and do some touch-up again. I have to chip away some paint down here, and we're going to attempt to make it look good again. Okay, steady as she goes here. Now down here. So I'm not sure how well this will show up on camera, but I went ahead and I did a little more, and now that I'm really looking at it, the off-white that it has turned compared to the nice stark white of the gesso is not gelling very well. So I am going to go a little further and try and blend it and do some additional touch-up. I'm committed now. I went ahead and did a lot of touch-up. It's not perfect, as I think I've said already. It's not perfect. And, to be frank, his paint job wasn't perfect to begin with. And, of course, all the years haven't been so kind to him. But now he looks pretty damn good. He looks nearly good as new. I mean, I'm not touching up any of the blue or the red. He looks pretty nice, pretty cool, pretty cute. I don't know, some people would think he's scary. I think he's kind of cute. There we are. And there he is, all finished up. Looking a lot better, operating a lot better. I did make one additional modification to him. I attached a rubber band. I drilled a hole and I screwed a rubber band into his body. Then I put a small screw in the head stick and attached that. So now his head won't, fly off. I think more professional ventriloquist dummies tend to do that, which is just a much better design instead of it just being free-floating. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this may be the first video uploaded to YouTube actually documenting one of these Jerry Layne Jr. ventriloquist figures. He's so infamous, but there hasn't really been a YouTube video showing one of these, certainly not showing one in the clown variety. As I mentioned, he's in a lot of media, so there's clips of him on YouTube, different skits and all that from television and made for YouTube. But, so I thought I'd go ahead and do that. And again, in the clown version, definitely rarer to see. You don't see these a whole lot. I certainly don't. One day would be cool. I'd love to find one in the standard male get-up, but that'll just about do it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching, and peace out for now.